Just give me a moment. I'm just recording. Yeah. Right. Just give me one moment. Yeah. So, let me start. So, well, open learning is for children, for youth, for families, for actually anybody. Actually, it's not defined by a particular age. Uh, where we started was we started by asking this question: Hey, what's the purpose of education? And at least for us, the answer came out as the purpose of education is no different from living. So living, learning, education are all, at least for us, synonymous. They are the same. And what that means is that invariably I am the leader of myself. I decide what I want to learn, how I want to learn, or what I want to do, and how I want to do. Obviously, I in this journey self-assess myself, and as and when I reach that age where I would like to, I can chart my professional journey also that way. Obviously, all of this is not happening in isolation. It's happening with the first community, which is the family, and then larger groups of people or whom you network with, which is why we have Aarohi as a community. But the primary thought is that in open learning, in unschooling, homeschooling, that we, as in each child, each individual takes up the responsibility for his or her own learning, his or her own life, if learning and life you consider as synonyms. And that's a very interesting paradigm, because the moment we start thinking of each learner or each child as responsible for self, then a lot of things comes from them, especially their own leadership. Not that we don't make mistakes, all of us make mistakes at all ages, so that's all right. But because there is a support system, because there are people around us, those mistakes are beautiful because they help us learn and understand ourselves. So that's how we kind of fall, we get up, we fall, we get up, and that's how the journey of open learning goes. In terms of the kind of a progression one goes through. If you see the slide, when children are very young, some of you mentioned 1 year old, 10-month-old. So they are primarily looking at exposure. They get exposed to literally the whole world around them. So there's a lot of, and they kind of hog those exposure and take it as their learning curriculum. And we also, as parents, provide them a lot of different exposure. We take them out, we show them different things. As children grow older, they get into exploration of their interests. So they start choosing. Somebody could be more into sports, somebody could be liking science, somebody could be liking art, somebody could be liking stitching, somebody could be liking cooking, and so on. So exploration starts, and this goes on. They explore something more, something less, and as they grow older, they reach the stage where they want to get now expertise in one or two areas, or maybe more, but usually it's one or two areas. And that's typically the teen years when they start getting deeper into. So that's more like the deeper stage. And as they go deeper into one or two areas, they develop enough expertise to convert that into an enterprise, which is the earning stage or the professional stage. So that's how we look at the progression of open learning. Um, so what is Aarohi briefly is a community of open learning families. So that's what Aarohi is. And what we do is, while we may be living in different cities or wherever, we support each other, we learn together, we do things together. And in that sense, we kind of live together. But a lot of co-creation happens by interacting with each other and obviously copying each other's ideas, suggestions. However, each family's journey is very unique. I think that's very important. So in terms of, if you look at this little map, for us, the whole world is ours. So open learning is called open learning because we think that everything is available to us and everything is an option to learn or do. It's not limited in any which way. There's no right, wrong. It's more a question of choices. Typically, it starts with the home as the first campus. Then obviously, as you form the community, so you can travel to each other's house, and other families' homes become another campus. Obviously, you have Aarohi as a campus where I'm right now. And then there is always, families traveling together to explore the world. So this whole world is literally ours. That's the way we look at it. And we enjoy doing that. And a little I'll touch about the journey from passion to profession. As I was saying, when children turn 13, 14, they start thinking about, hey, which interests of mine I want to go deeper, and how do I want to make this journey of profession, right? When they become 16, 17, 18. Uh, so that's where we have the Aarohi Coversity, where a youth would take a deep dive into one area for a certain amount of time to see, hey, is this my passion? Is this something that I would like to do more? And so that to how they develop, they actually discover passions. So they may explore few fields till they find the one that they are really interested in. And all of this obviously with a cohort of other youth, because youth like to work with youth a lot. And the kind of work that they do is to do with industry projects and internships, and do a lot of industry work basically. So which means that they are not doing just theory, they're doing work, and while they're doing work, they're obviously learning. So it's work to learn. That's the whole idea, rather than learning to work. So obviously they are supported by guides, mentors, the community, and they chart their own journey and become a professional. They could be becoming a entrepreneur, a freelancer. They could be getting into a job, however they want to do it. So that's the journey of the older age group, right? So this is like a little map of what all different things that they do in Coversity, which we can come back to if anybody wants to discuss this. But primarily, the whole idea of open learning, whether it's the younger children doing or older children doing, is to develop ourselves. And when we become strong in terms of how we think, how we do, how we figure out, how we approach, how we take responsibility of ourselves, then we are ready for every moment of our life, every stage of our life. And that's how we develop ourselves. So that's the broad. So life becomes our curriculum, if I may put it that way. And the whole idea is to work on ourselves. Right. So that's quick introduction to open learning. I think I took more than 7-8 minutes than I promised, but that's okay, I hope. Yeah. So we are open now for discussions, questions, answers, whatever somebody. There's quite a big crowd today. So it would be looking forward to an interesting discussion. Any aspect of learning, doing is most welcome. So please come. If you can come on video, that would be nice. We can have a visual connect. Feel free to ask questions or share your journeys, and we all learn from each other.
Hello, I have a question actually.
Sure.
Rather a concern basically. I have a 4-year-old daughter, as I said, and
Mhm.
we are open learning as such. She's not going to a school,
Yeah,
and we stay in a gated society. Where there are securities and everything. People going out and leaving. Um, and it's not like a village where there's a ground floor and people, there's a land that the children can go around and have um you know a open play or a space as such. So my concern is my daughter just wants to go out and roam outside. Leaving. We are staying the first floor, so it's okay. But then the 14th floor building, and she just wants to go out. I'm going down, mama. I'm going down, mama. I'll just take a round and I'll come up. But my concern and my husband's concern is we actually cannot trust, who's coming in, going out,
sure.
and she's a girl, and we have to take care that she's in a safe place. she'll go into a neighbor's house, she's going to another wing, and here, there. So I understand that, yes, of course, it's a exposure that she's looking out for, an independent mind that she is now between transitioning from 4 to 5 years, and she wants to be independent. She wants to have an exposure. And I do talk to myself, ki, okay, fine. She needs an exposure. She needs people around. She needs a peer around, and she just looks for kids around. And she can actually just talk to strangers like any like an adult. And she can just
Yeah.
speak. So my concern is, how should I mean, I have to give a fear factor that no, you can't go out, do anybody can take you and take you out and all that thing. So I have to give a fear because I just can't let her go down. So how do I tackle this situation, considering that it's a learning for her and she wants to have that freedom to move out and experience that thing. So how do I I would say it's a parent or a fear that is restricting to not let her out and have that freedom to move out so frequently and every day. If given a choice, she would be down for hours together, for hours together, and she will not come into the house. So that's the limitation in a city like Mumbai.
Preeti, you want to respond to that? How do you go about doing it? You have also been in Mumbai, and your daughter was also at one point of time 5. That's okay. She's just 10 now. It's not like that she is.
Oh, just sharing my past experience. Like she was, I think, 3 or something, and she had started going down by her own. And everybody in the gated community used to be like, how these parents are, and what kind of parents are they, and they do not take care of their daughter, and this and that. A lot of, and how do they allow her to go alone in the lift, and this and that. A lot of things have come up, but yes, so that's an experience I'm sharing that. Till date everything is safe and everything is proper, and she can handle herself very well, and she knows to how to deal with situations. This is what I would share, but I would like to pass this on to Pranav actually.
Now you're caught.
No, Nisha, like I get you. See, it's I understand it's your fear, and it could be a valid fear or concern. But I think the thought here is probably you can talk like 4-year-old. I'm sure your daughter will understand you, so you can share your concerns with her. "Hey, this is what I feel. This is what I fear. Say maybe you are like alone, and probably there has to be a safe place for you to move around and all those things. So that is one aspect of it, which where you can share with her and express your concerns, and then try and figure out from her what can be done. That is one part. Other part is probably as what we did. Jabi, if you can't go, I'm sure there are other parents who are already going down. So rather give them the responsibility. कि मेरा भी बच्चा है भाई थोड़ा देख लेना. So I don't think that should be a problem. And that's how the community functions, I believe. So someday you might be down, someday others might be down. And there is so much of like stuff infrastructure that we are available. सबके पास phones है, mobile है. So that connection will always be there. Has she reached there? Has she not reached there? So that's what I feel. Well, there is no 100% foolproof way of protecting or safeguarding this concern of yours, but this is what one can do.
Okay, thank you so much.
So Nisha, these were two Mumbaikars talking. So they're possibly in a similar situation as you. Yeah. Also, one side you can do a lot using the community. I think that's a beautiful idea that Pranav shared. That consider everybody in the apartment as your friend. Let's start with that premise, and then you will see how she makes friends with, as you said, with, let's say, grandparents of other people, and meaning of that age, people of elderly age, and other parents, and so on. And that would be amazing. Normally, children are far more open to just saying hi to whomever they feel connected to. So that's a beautiful way of looking at it. And at the other level, the idea is also to little co-create or design the day with the child, so that when she's going, how she's going, she knows why she's going, where she's going. A little more, you can say, uh, you can get a sense of how the day would be and how the going out, coming in, where you will step in other times, how will she take care of the safety and so on. So they can be, and it will not be done in a day. That is it's an ongoing process for life, not just here. Even when you are 18-year-old and you're going out into Mumbai, you still need to be safe, isn't it? Just because you are 4-year-old isn't that you are unsafe. At any age, you have to take care of not just safety, everything else also. So I think this co-creation, discussions, planning, charts, maps, or whatever she likes, whatever she is in, how you can do this dialogue on a daily basis, not to reach some ideal stage, but to ensure that it's a continuous journey of kind of creating our living and learning together. So consider this whole going down and doing whatever she's doing as part of her life curriculum. And then we have to see how she wants to work it, how she takes care of your concerns, how you take care of her needs, and so on. So I think it's a beautiful journey. You should blog it on a constant basis for others to get inspired by and learn from. Yeah. I've also
Can I just
mentioned, so it
add?
is almost looking like a marketing, but I've also mentioned we do a program called Jagrati, which specifically or rather deeply focuses on empowering children. So one-sided, yes, I can take care of the world, but more importantly, how we make our children far more responsible, far more understanding of what's right, what's wrong, what's safe, what's not safe, what to do, where not to do, when. And they will surprise us. We think that they are small, but when we give them the responsibility, they really surprise us. So that's something that you might want to look at. Yeah, somebody else I heard a voice. Yeah.
Can I just share something here? Just to add to this, just 2 minutes more. So our daughter, she goes to gymnastics, which is like we are staying in Katkobar, and she goes to gymnastics in Chembur. Since you're in Mumbai, you probably will understand the logistics. So she goes alone in the auto. It's a 15-minute auto thing, and she goes by herself. And we have like taken that precaution to tell her कि आपका live location on रखना है. You have to kind of be careful about the situation. So she is also very observant about what is happening. So I'm just sharing from the child's perspective also. She's very observant. She reads on the auto there is a board where it is said for safety, for immediate dial 103 or dial 102 if there is any problem. Plus she also assesses the person, like in the auto, if she feels some auto driver is kind of acting a bit funny, she will leave that auto by herself. This is what she told us. Okay, I didn't find that auto driver comfortable, so I left that auto and then went to another auto. So see, few things they kind of gauge and understand by themselves also. Few things we kind of train, and in few things we use help of the technology. And then again, I'm saying it's still not a foolproof thing. Things if have to go wrong will go wrong, but uh, I think it's just a life, and that's how it works.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing
I
that. And
I also want to add on to what Ratnesh was saying about Jagriti. To be very honest, when actually she was 4, 5 something, that time I had done first time Jagriti. Then I did second time and third time Jagriti. I've done 3 times. Then समझ में आया कि अच्छा ये करना चाहिए. So but धीरे धीरे whatever. So the way Jagriti is designed, the way it has helped me to also be so much understanding the child and really having that kind of bonding with the child, that kind of thing has Jagriti has brought in for me, and also maybe for Pranav. But for me specifically, Jagriti has really helped in the sense that when like what Nisha you were sharing, that I'm like not comfortable sending her here and there and like that. And at that time when I used to listen to Jagriti sessions and understand how you can what is that word you give, you make the child, the Ratnesh, please give me that word.
Sorry, I don't know what you are thinking. There's so many things.
Make the child like self this thing independent and okay, I'll get back. Empower the child. I got it. Yeah.
Sure,
Yes.
sure.
So you empower the child in such a manner that the child himself or herself takes care of himself or herself, because we'll always not be there with them, whatever the age be. We are concerned today because they are 4 years. We'll be concerned even when they are 6 years. We'll be concerned when they are 18 years. We'll be concerned when they are 20 years, 30 years, whatever. But if they are empowered, if they know how to handle themselves, then I think yes. So Jagrati definitely has helped me. Yes.
Sure. I'll enroll it for the upcoming batch. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, if you look at if you ask me why do we do open learning, one part of doing open learning is, or rather one reason, at least for me, I don't know why people do open learning, unschooling, homeschooling. There are different reasons different people do. But for us, one of the main core reason is to give that power to decide, to learn, to grow, to think, to assess, to reflect to the children. So that's the whole idea. Just like when they are born, like they're totally born with that power. They go about exploring everything. They decide when they want to walk, when they want to talk. However, they are least bothered what they are speaking, but they want to speak when they are 1 year old or whatever. You see how powerful they are. If you really, when I see a 1 year old, I'm like totally zapped because they're so powerful human beings. Not that they become less powerful. Somehow we start taking their powers and start saying, no, I will tell you what is right. I will tell you what to do. I will tell you where to do. So a lot of this whole aspect of open learning is to say, hey, hello, you are amazing. And if I am not allowing you to use your amazingness or powerfulness or responsibility, whatever word you want to use, then I'm somewhere telling you that you have to be dependent on me and I am more powerful, kind of thing. So the whole idea of open learning, part of the idea of open learning, apart from having the abundance of choices, is to let them grow with the power which is already in them, at least for us. So since we are talking about open learning and unschooling, homeschooling, I'm sure there will be different reasons why people do that. And within this group, maybe people can share why they are doing it. But for us, that's one of the core reasons, to give that strength to the children. Because you see, professions, interest, fields, they keep changing throughout the life. I see any family, there's so many changes in the what we studied to what we did first, and then the job, and now the job. So people keep changing our life. So all of those things somehow don't count. What really counts is what we make out of ourselves. And I think that's the big thing about life, I would say. Sorry if we went in a little different directions. Yeah, but inviting more people to jump into discussions with this question or whichever other questions you have or thoughts that you have, please.
So, I am just sharing another thing that because of her dire need to be with her peer, her age groups or kids, I literally thought that let me put her to a school till the kindergarten, till senior KG, and let's see after first standard I'll have an open learning kind of a setup. And I was in the in a position that okay, fine, theek hai. I had already decided that I'll put her to a Waldorf school where there is no curriculum, nothing, and she will just have her peers around and she'll just play, and she'll come back and then she'll have a routine and a structure to something. But somehow in me, I wasn't very ready for it. I had already decided, but then I wasn't comfortable, and I I decided I'm not going to put her to a school because I do not want to just a second. I had actually written what exactly had in my mind why I'm not putting her to a school, because her own will, the willingness that she has, the thinking that she has, the feeling that she has will be now driven by one teacher, and it will not be from her that that will come. So my thought was that the authority now will not be me, but authority will not be her also, and the authority will be somebody, some other teachers, and what she needs to do, what she doesn't, what she's supposed to behave. The rules will be laid down by others to be followed, and then she will now have a teachers to look for her points to be validated, to validated or not, and she look for teachers now, and now they will be in charge of her feelings and willingness, her thinking, and then there will be an owners, their owners, and their responsibility to see her feelings and willing are well kept or not, and which is actually not always possible in a school setup. There are so many kids around, and you can't give attention to one person and all that thing. So I thought ki whether it is a Waldorf or whatever, I am not putting her to a school just because of her need to be with peers and all that. So it has their own cons as well, putting to a school. So I decided, no, I'm not going to put her. So I'm just sharing
Thanks.
it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Nisha. Okay, just again inviting, there's so many people in the call. Please share, ask. This is a very informal meetup. Once again, telling, even if you have come in for the first time, just come on the mic or in the chat, come on the video, however you are comfortable. Just talk, share, ask. That's the whole idea of a meetup. There is no expert here. We are just all open learning. Many of us are open learning families who can only share what our journey has to share and what our experiences have been and our thoughts are. So please feel free to throw in your thoughts, questions. I think Nikki has shared in the chat message that her daughter is 20 years. And so Nikki, I've replied to you, no, Jagriti is not for your daughter. If she's 20 years and I don't know, you need to talk to us about her if you want to, but probably Coversity is something that you might want to consider for her, or just exposure to open learning can also be considered. The Jagriti program is for parents, not for the children. But for her to do work with other youth is something that would work. But if you want to share more, talk about her or talk about what's on your mind, this is the right place. Please come on mic and share.
Hi, this is Nikki. Good evening to everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Actually, honestly speaking, I haven't brought my daughter up well. Because I don't know, very strict, and since she had issues in studies, so it was like more of a torture for both of us. And I literally tortured her. So, because of that, this child has become really suppressed. She doesn't speak much. But ऐसा नहीं कि उसको डर लगता है. I mean, she's very lively. She's a very loving, very caring, and like she keeps on smiling always. So, which like everybody says that you have the child, that the smile brings her. Everybody says that her smile brings a lot of joy for everybody. But she, as a child, herself is very, she cannot speak up much in front of others. If somebody is saying something to her in the market, like if she's alone, because I send her alone to do all the course. तो मतलब अगर कोई उस पे चिल्ला देगा या कुछ बोल देगा उसको, तो she never replies back. She keeps saying things to them in her own mind, and she comes home and she tells that to me. But वहां कभी उनके सामने कभी कुछ नहीं बोलेगी किसी के सामने. So that that really scares me now.
Okay. And what part scares you? If you are okay, little talking more about it.
Just a second. Yeah, the part which scares me is that how is she gonna handle her life alone?
Mhm.
You know, if she is so like I always taught her कि अगर तुम्हें कोई मारे, if somebody says something to you, तुम्हें कोई कुछ बोले बचपन में when she was in school or with her friends, so I always told her don't hit back the other person, go and say it to their parents. उनके parents को जाके बोलो. So she never, you know, she never said anything to any child, and like she used to get after me that I'm going to speak to their parent. But then in certain situations, I used to say, no, there is no need to speak. But
Yeah,
like,
so at one level, Nikki, let us one way to look at it that this is an issue and you have concerns, which is very valid. And another way to, if you ask me to look at it, is that this is, however she has developed, that's not go into the past, but this is her way of responding to the world. And who knows, this is a better or a worse way, or that there is a right way to respond. I don't know how to respond to people still. 50% of my responses go fat, and 50% are okay, right? Uh, so I'm first of all, I would start with saying, however she is doing is her way of doing it. Let's not get into this right or wrong way of doing it, or the best way to do it, or there's an ideal way to do it. And there are all kinds of individuals in this world. People who don't want to talk back, people who will really talk back, people who will get very aggressive, and people who will quickly come back, maybe like your daughter, and so on. All shades of people. And if we assume that only one shade is better off, or one shade can successfully be happy in this world, then I think that then we know that that's not right, because all people are living and enjoying in their own different ways. So I would personally say, let's start with that. And obviously the invitation is, as she explores the world uh, in her own way. When I say explore the world, not necessarily only outside world, doing world, work world, and so on, whatever she likes doing. She will evolve as an individual, which is very unique, who may not be very similar to like me and you, but who may be very differently approaching how things happen, who will find out her own ways to tackle a situation when she is alone, let's say. Right now, she comes back to you, maybe later on, she will figure out what else she can do. So I will start from that. And as I said, in open learning, we consider everybody to be already empowered, to have a way or multiple ways already. Yes, they will evolve there in their own personality, in their own way. And the word personality can also be very misleading, because first of all, people start thinking of an ideal personality, which doesn't exist. And also it evolves, it changes every day. We may not realize it, just like our height increases little every day, but we don't realize it. We only realize it after a few years. And then I'm sure somebody meeting her after a few years will say, oh, she has changed, that way. So that's how I would look at it, that let's invite her to be her, not anybody else, not any different ways. And from there, see, invite her to explore this beautiful world, whatever she wants to do, whatever her interest, in her own way, and then let's see how she evolves in it. If that is making any sense to you. But that's how I would look at it as a first thought. Since you've just shared, obviously we can have many more conversation, not just around this, but overall with your daughter, about your daughter, and so on. But just the immediate thought that is coming to my mind. But more people can share more thoughts.
Can I just ask in something? This is Namrata.
Sure, Namrata.
So Ratnesh ji, आप बोल रहे हो कि her way of responding is the perfect way. I mean, we don't know what is perfect for her. I mean, we should not think about what is perfect.
whatever she's doing right now, it can be the situation कि वो उसके लिए सही है, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, लेकिन what if that response is coming out of fear?
Fair enough.
मतलब as a mother, as a fear, what if that response is coming out of fear?
You are saying the child is responding out of fear?
Child, yes,
Sure,
yes.
sure. So again, fear by itself is not neither good or bad. It is to me a curriculum.
Yeah.
To me, something that I need to understand over a period of time. How, what are my fears? What are they telling me? How are they helping me? What can that lead to in terms of learning, understanding about myself? So for me, a fear is just a curriculum, or just a thing to understood, just a part of me. It's again not neither good or bad. We just need to understand that. And we can only understand it first when we accept it. If we keep pushing it away all the time, saying it's a fear, it's bad, and I should not be responding out of fear, then I would never really understand it. Then I'm more closing the door to it. But if I invite the fear, if I say, hello, come in, let's discuss, let's understand, let's explore. And sometimes it's not about talking. Exploring is not about talking, but exploring is about it's not bothering about the fear, but about the things that it relates to, and go about doing those things and see how that fear also evolves, how it changes. So we are all a mix of all the possible emotions. We have fears, we have jealousies, we have anxieties, we have excitements, I think we have all the emotions. And isn't that beautiful? Isn't that part of the garden of life kind of thing? Just like we have so many flowers.
Absolutely.
So I don't think there is again an issue per se. Where is it coming from? Again, the idea is to understand, and understanding, the word itself is very big. It's not about, as I said, just sitting on a sofa and talking about it. That's one small part of it, but about experiencing it without kind of putting it down or shutting it out into a box. Which is why I'm not saying that it's her perfect way, but I'm just saying that that needs to be accepted as one way in which she's doing. Not that she will not evolve in whichever direction she wants to evolve. So she will also evolve her own ways of dealing with the world, with her own fear. Maybe it's out of fear. Maybe it's not out of fear. Maybe she's just rejecting the world, or maybe she sees the world in a different way than me and you. So I don't know what is
Right.
it. And it doesn't need to be classified as one thing or the other. Meaning, at least I don't see there's a need to do that. But yes, what we can do is we can start with the acceptance that this is fine. However you are doing is fine, and let's explore more ways of doing it as you go about living your life. So still the life is the main thing. I am doing things in my life, right? I'm not just sitting and analyzing all day my fears. Then I'll possibly turn into a psycho. I'm guessing, I don't know.
Absolutely.
But the idea is to
Yeah.
live life, and then as life, different incidences happen, different things happen, it will all add to the little bit of me. And yes, I will also talk about it, read about different things, or come into understanding through different people. That's very important. Meeting in maybe starting with interacting with a lot of people whom I connect with, not strangers on the street, but whom I connect with. And I think that's where we have concepts like community or coversity, where we can start interacting with lots of different people who are there, who are like me in a way, but they are also very different. So I get to grow because of grow through different people, because different people have different styles. So that adds to my learning. I'm sorry, I think
Thank you
I've spoken
so
quite a
much.
lot.
No, I got the point. Thank you.
Yeah, but there are many more people. Please go ahead. You can ask more questions related to unschooling, homeschooling, open learning, Aarohi, anything that you would like to, not just ask, to discuss, to share. In fact, somehow the topic we had chosen for today was that, hey, sometimes you're talking about fear of strangers or fear of people. Sometimes, a lot of times, we are fearful of future. What will happen to the future? How will she learn this, or how will that happen? And that stops us from doing things the way we would like us to do. We end up doing things just because we are operating out of future, not operating out of present. But open
Exactly.
learning, invites us
sorry
to
for
do
the
that. Yeah, Nikki.
exactly the same, you know, we always think like my husband is like totally, her father is like, ये क्या करेगी, ये कैसे करेगी, she doesn't understand things,
Yeah.
क्या होगा इसका, मुझे बहुत डर लगता है, what will happen.
Sure. So which is why we say the building up of the future is not the future. We are not building a future. We are building ourselves for the future. And if we have to build ourselves for the future, we have to build ourselves today. We have to do something today. If we start doing things that we like doing, we start doing things with people whom we like doing it with, then we automatically grow in our own way. I'm not saying any standardized way. And then invariably we'll be ready for the future because we are making ourselves ready for the future. We are not making future ready. Future keeps changing. So I don't know how I can even be sure of the
No,
future.
this like is sort of a fear for him, like, you know, how will she be able to handle herself once we are not there?
Sure.
So that is you know, an part,
Which is why we should think about how
which is
we
like,
can.
which has been stressed to us by the doctors as well.
Sure. And as I said, which is why we should think about how she can live today out of her own responsibility and her own thinking. So let's start with the today. Let's not worry about the future.
She is interested into like cooking and everything, cooking and baking, and she keeps trying things. Uh, but like I said, like Cover City, like आपका जो है, it's like we are in UP. I'm from Allahabad, so like, you know, coming that far it will be a little difficult for us. Uh, so how can we like help her in doing little things out here, you know, without going into any institutional learning?
Okay. See, for Aarohi is not an institutional learning. It's just a community. It's just families and youth and children living together and doing things that they like doing. Yeah. What I can suggest you is come for a week's visit. That's Allahabad is not too far, just about 2 hours flight from Allahabad reaches here. In fact, airport is further. It will take you 3 hours from airport to campus. Allahabad to Bangalore is quick and easy. So if you come and visit, I'm not telling you about any, whether you should, I'm not trying to make you join anything. No. Let's not hurry with that. That you can over a period of time decide what is good for your family. But when you come here and you stay here, you get to see how children, adults, everybody, how a community lives, learns, and enjoys their life, their today. That is what you get to see. So that will give you an idea whether you are part of the community or not is immaterial. This meetup or Aarohi for that matter never tries to say that come and be part of the community. We are a community, whoever wants to join can join. But more importantly, first come and experience. So that is one option available. You can come and stay here for a week and experience. So come as a family, all of you, and experience 1 week. And that will give you a window as to how things can be done. And then you can see whether you want to do it at home, whether you want to be somewhere else, whether you want to be part of the community, how all of that is the future part. Yeah. But it has to start with the child, and it has to start with us believing in her, not thinking that, okay, this is a problem, that is a problem. Yes, problems are there, but the problems is not that we don't want the problems to grow. So why focus on problem? We want the child to grow. So let's focus on the child and what's works for the child. What are the resources in the child? What's the power of each child? Let's look at that. Yeah, isn't that what we want to grow? So let's focus on that.
Thank you.
So that invitation is open to anybody. We have certain weeks, which are marked as the visit weeks. please check on the website, and you're most welcome to come and experience. So the idea is to just see how one space works. I mean, that's the apart from this meetups, that's what we can offer, I think. Yeah.
Hello, hi. My name is Sudha. Hello,
Sudha.
Ratnesh. How are you? I was listening to the conversation, and several things were running through my head. I would like to state one example. First of all, it is true what you said. We're all grown-ups, but we probably still cannot say back exactly what's on our mind most of the time. Yes, we do have those lucky times when our mind is, able to match to what's being said. But that's very those number of times are very few, because what we watch in social media where role plays are rehearsed, or movies, or or anywhere on Netflix, these are very choreographed and rehearsed shows. So that's far away from reality. And also, when someone's saying something to you, it could be very insensible, because not everything that is being said is based on sense or fairness or rational, right? And if you're intelligent, or if you're aware enough to understand what's being said to you and it doesn't make any sense, how do you retort to that, right? For instance, I was in an auto rickshaw, and my location didn't go through accurately. So the driver was very frustrated, and he started expressing his frustration to me. And I was trying to reason with him that this is what happened, but he would not listen to me. He wasn't a good listener, right? And at the time, I wasn't aware of myself, and I kept trying to explain to him, and that only resulted in frustration, right? Another driver, he again was going to start a similar conversation, but I knew better this time. You know what? Let him have his say. You're going to get to your destination. There's no need for you to say anything, right? The same kind of situations, but the attitude and the experience tells you how, not retorting also works. Right. And another thing that was running through my mind was yesterday's Chandrayaan's mission. So after the rocket was sent into the skies, all the prime people on the project had their turns to speak. They had a little bit of an airtime. And I was watching Mr. Mohan, who was a mission director. I'm not sure how many of you watched it, but he was a mission director for the entire mission. But he was so excited, he was so overwhelmed, he couldn't string words together. He couldn't really talk. And the thing is, as a spectator, I know what he's done for the mission. He's the mission director. He doesn't really need to say anything, right? But when he was delivering his speech, he couldn't really put words or sentences together. It could be anything. Probably he was overwhelmed, and probably he was too excited. We overestimate retorts. We overthink things. And also, what I believe is, we must sit down and think about where our fears are stemming from. It could be from our very own experiences, right? So if say something happened to me when I was growing up, I probably imagine my child in that similar situation, and I start imagining things. Oh no, how is she going to do it? But the thing is, she is a different life force. She's a different individual, and her experiences are going to be totally different. And fear stem from our imagination and our very own experiences, which could actually be rooted in the past or present. And it's really a complex web when we talk about fears. Anyway, these were the random thoughts that were running through my head when you all were talking about fear, and our fear of how our children are going to live their lives.
Sure,
Yes.
sure. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, okay. More people, more thoughts. Any questions? Okay. Anything that people would like to discuss, to talk about? There's so many people in the call, and I'm quite amazed, and I'm glad actually. Some of you, I'm seeing names for the first time, and some names are people who come in regularly. So anybody, just start a conversation. I think there's so many aspects, so many things to talk about, to enjoy talking about actually. And please don't think that, oh, this is specific to my child, why will I bore a group about it? Please realize whichever aspect you bring about your child or yourself is relevant to everybody, because we are all finally a family and we have children and growing and all of that. Age also does not matter. It kind of, I've seen the basic thoughts are span all the ages, irrespective whether the child is 4 years, 1 year, or 20 years. So please don't feel like that, oh, this is about this. So just feel free to share. Everybody's in thinking mode, I guess. Hopefully not in sleeping mode. Okay, so maybe I will ask a question. My question is very simple, is if you are already doing open learning, unschooling, homeschooling, whatever, these are just different terms, free schooling, free education. There are some 15, 20 terms, so let's not get lost in the terms. If you are doing it or planning to do it, what are your reasons to do it? Let's just share, because different families have different reasons. It's just interesting to know, okay, oh, so one family is coming from this perspective, another family is coming from a different perspective. So it would be just very interesting to kind of hear two different reasons why people are doing Okay, so I will start since nobody else is sharing. So I'll start with a cute incident, or rather the turning point or the last straw, as people say, was actually initially my daughter was going to a school till 4th standard, and nothing wrong with the school, just a regular school, good school. But in 4th standard, when our results came, it was A+ in everything. And both me and my wife said, oh, this is not a good news. Somebody getting A+ in everything, this is not good. Right? I don't know if you agree with me or not, but for us, it was not a good news. It was in a way a bad news, or in a way a news which we need to do something about, because we felt, oh, so this is what is learning, A+ in everything. that means learning isn't happening. Something else is happening. And although we were already kind of convinced about unschooling, homeschooling, that just made us decide, yeah, we don't want her to get A+. We want her to fail. We want her to face challenges. We want her to have difficulties. We want her to do things which are not easy. And also do things which she can put more energy into rather than just trying to ensure that everything is A+, which means she isn't really thinking about herself. She's just thinking about what is being served to her. So that was the time we moved out of school. As I said, nothing wrong with the school or with the schooling system. We just moved out because we felt that let her explore what she likes exploring. And then she started exploring, and that was the best part, that she could spend days, months on things that she likes. Not that she's doing the same now that she's 20, almost 25, but at that moment, whatever interested her, art and dance, and those were the things that she would spend a lot of time and travel and so on. And then obviously her journey evolved. And by the time when we got our second child, that is our son, we were very sure that we don't let him also focus his energies on what he likes doing right from day one. So that's been our journey, primarily to, as I said, to get them to explore what they want to explore deeply, and also become individuals, not out of success, but out of doing, which will invariably bring in both success and failures. And that's the beauty of life. So that's how we started off. So inviting more people to share how you started off or how you are thinking right now, even that is fine. Okay, so we have Ovi Kulkarni sharing in chat. Thanks, Ovi. Yeah, I guess a lot of people want to get into open learning because they want their children to learn what they like learning. Anybody else, if you would like to share or just ask a question, anything? You can ask about Aarohi also, or you can ask about how the community works. You can ask about that. And you can, a family can be part of the community from anywhere in the country. It's not like that you have to be at the campus. So some families are part of the campus. City, obviously, youth are part of the campus. But there are many families like Preeti's family, Preeti's Pranav's family, which are part of the community from Mumbai. So you can be anywhere and be part of the community. So if you have questions about Aarohi also, you can ask. Plus, I've also posted in the chat if you want to visit and see and experience how this community works. You're most welcome. Come and stay with us. Yeah, anybody else has any other thought or question? Sorry, was somebody speaking? Preeti, you want to share a little about how the community works, what all different things happen, especially for families who are staying away from, not in campus.
I'll hear both.
Okay, share both.
Okay, so we are Aarohi community, both physically present as campus in Bangalore, 60 kilometers from Bangalore. We have a campus there where we can stay there as a family together along with the child, and parents can also stay with the child. To start with, there is a guest week in which you can visit and experience the campus. Um, so everything in campus also is designed in a way that really like you learn from each and everything that's there in campus. So it's a very uniquely designed campus. Every building of it is designed in a different format, with a different material and all of that. So a lot of learning out there. So that is the physical campus where you can visit and stay there. Then there is Aarohi X, where we all families, we be part of the community from our homes, wherever we are. So like we are in Mumbai, so we are part of Aarohi since more than 3 years now. And we are super well connected. We do not feel that we are in Mumbai and campus is in Bangalore, so we are not connected and we feel distant or nothing like that. Because as families, if we are seeking and if we really want to connect with like-minded families and if we really want to understand how to go forward, how to do things in different manner, then we can connect with each other in many different ways. So online we are connected via different circles that happen. So we have like design circle happens on Saturday, wherein we do reflection and planning of the next week. Then we do collaboration circle, exposure circle. We do show off circle and sharing circle. Then we we do mentoring circle. We have parenting circle wherein we connect with all the parents only connect with each other. Then we have teen tween circles where only teens connect with each other, tweens connect with each other, so that they discuss their own way of thinking, and which they don't want to share with anybody else, but they want to share with their peer group, and just discuss whatever they want to discuss. So for everybody, there is a space in Aarohi campus also, Aarohi online also, and we are all well connected. We connect also via going out in the form of different trips to different places, and we also connect via meeting at each other's houses. So for all of us as Aarohi community, our doors and windows and everything is open. So whenever we are traveling here and there, we connect with each other and we visit each other's places also. So that is also the way that we connect. So that's the way Aarohi community is. We are like a big family, a bigger family beyond our own families. I hope I've done justice.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you can ask Preeti. Okay, Chirag has a very common thought, Chirag. That's something I think crosses every parent who's starting homeschooling at school, including us. Everybody starts with that thought. Okay, yes, everybody will give you weird looks. So let's ask others who have started this journey. How do you think about these? What will others think? So others, would you like to share your view with who are already in this journey? How do you look at what would people? The only thing I can tag is after some years we start thinking, okay, we start telling them, are you crazy? You are sending your children to school. It changes after some time. Obviously, when you see our children enjoying life so much and living it to the fullest, we start saying the other way around. But anyway, we don't say it, we just say it in our minds. Yeah, Preeti.
Yeah, I started saying that. Actually, it has started happening with me. I like morning yoga. I go to a group, like there's a group of more than 10-15 people, and all the children they go to school, and my daughter only sometimes join there with me. So they are like, why she's not going to school or something, and like, and then in my mind I say, why are your children going to school? Sorry, no jokes about it, but yeah, this craziness that you're talking about, Tarun, right? Tarun was asking that question. So don't worry, you will not have to answer anybody. Actually, I think your children, our children, answer them very well. So my daughter herself, she gauges that who is coming from what kind of window, what kind of question they are asking. So based on whatever she feels that is right for the receiver, she will just answer. If she doesn't want to just really go in a detailed discussion, she will just say, yeah, I go to school, I go in sixth standard, I go to that school. Some school she will take a name. Or if like she wants to discuss or something, then she has very clear answers what she's doing and what all, how is she enjoying her life. So you don't have to face, I think, much. I think our children are strong enough to handle all of that.
And Chirag, I see this as an opportunity when other parents give a weird look, and they, not just weird look, they start asking us questions. So I don't look at that I need to defend my decision or convince them. That's not the point. The point is, okay, here is another person, another view. So if I have a conversation with him or her, that will only add value to my thinking. Let me take on their views. I don't need to subscribe to everybody's views, but if I have more views, then that just gives me a better understanding of myself and my thinking. So if people are giving me weird looks, I will say, come over, let's have a weird discussion. So that's the whole idea. If they are okay to having a conversation around it, yeah, or if they are. As I said, till we are not trying to convince them, then it becomes an kind of, let's call it an argument, or trying to convince each other and so on. But as I said, the whole idea, if it is just to have a more meaningful conversation, trying to understand their reasons and trying to share our perspectives, it just becomes a very, kind of rich discussion. That's the way we look at it. And that's the way it has helped us, at least. So, yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
I agree, Ratnesh. I actually want to add on to this, that if we are convinced and if we know that what we are doing, then I don't think any weird look will or anything will matter. And we can definitely like Ratnesh was talking about weird discussions. Yes, we have had a lot of weird discussions, and people might go back with whatever they are thinking, but we are like going happy and happy and happier and happier. So that graph is going up only in terms of being more happy.
Chirag, do you have a follow-up question? You want to come on mic or something? You want to talk a little more? Also, are you the same Chirag who had sent me an email about the legal aspects or something? Because I don't know if there can be two Chirags, so I'm just double checking. Okay, I'm assuming you're not able to come on mic. I'm assuming you're able to hear me. And that's fair enough. Yeah, it would be nice to interact on the mic. Maybe not today, maybe next time. We are there every Saturday. So, and we have been there for last more than 3 years. That's why this is the 165th meetup that we are doing. And as I was telling at the beginning, we also bring in families who share their journey specifically for you to interact. So we'll be doing that mostly next week. We'll have some family for you to interact with. Apart from listening to us. And, we are there as anchors and hosts, yeah, most of the times. So I think we can pause now. And
I think
as I
Sudha
said,
is raising her hand, Ratnesh.
oh yeah, sure, Sudha, please come on mic and just talk. Yeah, no need to raise hands. Yeah.
Right. So my daughter has been through Montessori, and now she's in elementary. And this is something that I'm very interested in: open schooling and going beyond the boxes. I would like to understand, which is not of relevance in the near context, but as they grow. For instance, one of your students at Aarohi may want to pursue medicine. Do you have children like that who went on to pursue these conventional avenues after being through Aarohi? I would like to know examples from those kinds of spheres as well.
Okay, so let me give one example, though I'm not trying to say that the child wanted to. Okay, so let's put it this way. first let me give an answer in a more generic sense. That you gave the example of medicine, but that medicine is just one profession. There are at least 7,000 to 8,000 different other professions. So we are so I'm trying to say, what if the child wants to go into any of those 8,000 professions, not just medicine? And whether you call them conventional, non-conventional, I don't know. To me, a profession is a profession. Right? Or it is somebody's interest and they want to do it. Now, what is the path to reach there can be different paths. Right? If the path requires them to give a certain examination or a certain certification, they can do that. If the path requires them not to do those, or they find a way to address that same thing without necessarily doing that, then they can also do that. So it all depends on the individual. And in open learning, all options are open. We are nowhere saying that, oh, you shouldn't give an examination or you should give an examination, or for that matter, anything.
I think
You
you went
should
on
learn
mute.
this or you should learn that. Yeah. So anybody can give any examination and go for any kind of thing that is immaterial. So just to give you an example, one of our, in fact, he was there in our meetups I think 3-4 weeks back. His name is Imad. He wanted to go become a pilot. So at at 17 or 18, he said that he wants to become a pilot. And then for 1 year, he worked a lot in that field. And he realized to become a pilot, he needs to give a 10th and a 12th, because in India, that's mandatory for you to get into a aviation course. So he gave 10, 12 to be able to give that. But only thing is, by that time, he realized he does not anymore want to become a pilot for one very important reason. And if you see his thing, I can send you, if you see the playlist, you will see his name is Imad. So there's a beautiful discussion with him. He was the guest in this meetup. And he kept on saying the reason he dropped the idea of going into pilot was because he met a lot of pilots. Okay, so as part of his open learning, he was not just studying for 10, 12, he went and invested into meeting a lot of pilots, understanding what goes into a life of being a pilot. And after doing all of that, he decided he does not want to be a pilot. So he did 10, 12 for the pilot, but finally he dropped that whole plan. And now his plans are different. If you want to know more how he's got into other ideas of his life and how he's pursuing them and so on. So, okay, I'm just trying to give that for us, it's not about a particular profession. It's about whatever each individual wants. So just to take your example ahead, suppose I want to get into medical field. Now, there can be two reasons. One reason could be that I like whatever, cutting up people or diagnosing people. I like the whole idea of treating people. Another could be a more social angle. I like this whole idea of, going out and healing the world and giving them, medical support. So if I have that idea, I need not even be a doctor. I can start a hospital, can start a movement. I can get 5 doctors with me. I can get 5 healers with me. I can look into other sciences, not just the allopathy, but let's say Ayurveda or homeopathy or so many others. Or I can just form a movement to help people understand something or reach out something. So even within the scope of what you call as medical, what I understand as health and wellness, there is food, there is so many things. There's one Sattvic movement now, which talks about this is the kind of food that you can eat. Now, the Sattvic movement, people are not MBBS, right? They've invested their life into understanding food, and then they are proposing. And they're also into wellness. So I think the whole domain of wellness or health is very open and very wide. If somebody wants to give a MBBS and become a doctor, great, to do that. There is enough institutions to help you prepare for the examination and get into a college. But if you want to look at wellness or health, then there are so many other things. Or if you, and when you experience it a little more deeply, then you can decide, do I want to become a doctor? Or is it just some fancy notion given by the world that, doctors is this and doctors is that? Right, which is why I was giving you the Imad's example, because he later on came and told me, uncle, it was possibly, I thought that, oh, flying is, they look so smart, they look so handsome, these pilots, and life would be amazing. I'm always moving in 5 stars and this and that. So that was his notion as a child that attracted him, that I'm in air, I'm in control of a craft. But when he actually met the pilots, he got a different picture from them, that life is tough, life is this, life is that, whatever. Right? And that made him realize, okay, that was more like a fancy and not really what he wanted. So it's very interesting when we approach any profession also with an open mind. There's no need to rush into it and say, oh, this, then if you want to be a doctor, that's great, that's amazing, that's like thumbs up. To me, all 8,000, 10,000, 50,000 professions are thumbs up. It doesn't matter what profession anybody does. Yeah, I gave a very long answer to your very specific question.
It's something that I resonate with as well. As we all grow up aspiring to be something, but being on the ground and actually having the experience of watching the experienced ones do it, and that completely changes your angle. Either you become more certain that you want to do it, or as this student, draw back for good.
Yeah. And also sometimes it's in between also. You experience it for some time and then you say, no, this is not what I wanted to do. It may be 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So many of us have changed profession after 10, 15, 20 years. So even that is okay. It's not even either or at the beginning. It can be at any point of time. Yeah.
For me, one concern would be sometimes we easily give up, and it's human nature. So certain things we might perceive as challenging. Again, I use perceive. They may not actually be challenging, but in your head you build your own fears and you perceive them to be challenging. And when we are growing up as children, my only concern would be if they give up easily without even going all the way, simply because they perceive it to be a challenge. That would be one of my concerns. If children want to quit, I would hope that they have given up that idea because they've gone through it entirely and decided to come back, as opposed to drawing back because of certain things in their head that may or may not be true.
Well, I would okay, let me start by little tweaking your thought. You said that giving up is human nature. I am not totally in agreement with that. I would say in human nature, there is this element of giving up too soon, giving up little later, giving up after some time, giving up after a lot of time, and not giving up. I think we are made up of all of these. I will call that as a human nature, which means in certain things, I have given up so many things after just little sampling them. And I've given up many things after doing it for some time. And I have given up many things after many years, and I've given up or not given up at all in certain fields. So I would say, and I see that all around me, including every child that at least I have interacted with. That would be around 15, 16,000 children by now. So I don't think by itself children are either into giving up or not giving up. They give up on certain things, they persist on certain things. Also, they are evolving, changing. That's their age of exploration. So giving up is not in that sense negative. It's just like I moved away from that station. Why bother about it? Why do I even need to spend more time on it? I'm just moving ahead to something else. And that's absolutely fine. So I think that is the age. In fact, amongst the youth, this seems to be a major peer issue or whatever issue you want to call it, that they say, oh, I keep changing and, the world looks down upon me. My parents look down upon me. But I keep telling, if you at this age of 15, 16 will not change and not explore and not give up, then when will you give up? Not at 80. So my idea is that the way I look at it, there's an age to do that. And I would say the first 25 years should be like that easily. If not, I would easily expand it to 30, 35. First 30, 35 years, explore different things, keep giving up whatever you don't like and keep moving on to what likes you till you find. If you find, or you may be a person who likes multiple things at the same time, which is also fine. Or you may be the kind of person who just keeps hopping all of their life, which is also fine. So I would not really be bothered about it. I would say that's life, and each individual is different. Maybe Sudha is the non-giving, not so easily gives up, but maybe somebody else is someone who gives up a little more easily. So let's just keep it very, that's the way I've seen it. Yeah. So
Thank you for that perspective. Thank you.
sure. Okay, I think we are already at 6:34. So we can, okay, maybe we can pause now for today. And yeah, everybody, thank you for joining. And we are there every Saturday. And yeah, we will keep coming back with more thoughts, more questions, and we'll keep discussing, keep exploring, keep sharing. And do visit us whenever you feel like you want to experience something which is interesting, is what I will say as. Thank you. And we also have this Jagriti program starting on 21st, which is next Friday. If you're interested, I've put the details in the chat so you can pick it up from there. Yeah, the Jagriti program is not about open learning. It's specifically for parents. Open learning meetups is what happens every Saturday. Yeah. So thank you, and yeah, bye-bye. Have a nice weekend.